NXT, where even the good things make no sense. Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to Tuesday. Kate, what do you have to say about stuff? Because
well, this is the NXT post show, and I'll tell you what, our post show,
it is that. That is what it is.
We do puns, we sing songs, and I think it still makes more sense than NXT episodes like this, man. But
true.
I will say that this is the NXT post show for January 16th. Get into your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com.
There we go.
Leave a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. It helps people find us in the algorithms, which is really helpful and important. And we will also remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select, where there is contract news. Mercedes Watch is still underway, people. If you get even little things, okay? You guys know about the post shows you get with me and Alex. You guys know about all the scoops that you're gonna get and Sean's Q&A. I put it over every week. But you know what? Sean just like snuck into select portions this week.
Did he?
That Mustafa Ali is selling out like the biggest indie push since Cody Rhodes was on the indies, and he was white hot. Which just is the happiest news. It made me so happy to see that reported. And you know what else? Mustafa Ali posted it on his Instagram, and he gave credit to Fightful Select. So Mustafa Ali is a better aggregator than half of the journalists out there, but we appreciate that about him. We appreciate your support, along with 11,000 other people on FightfulSelect.com. So head over there and subscribe. So much going on. But Alex, last week we were like, this women's battle royal field actually looks pretty good. Probably looks like Cora Jade's to win. But there's a lot of people that are possibilities that could win this thing.
Right.
And we were also like, well, this tournament bracket makes no sense because it's obvious who's going to be in the finals.
Right.
Everything that we thought last week was a lie.
Yes. Yeah.
Nothing makes sense. I was like, hopefully we get back to respectable opponents for, I don't want to say respectable because that's me to Josh Briggs, but more in line with the intent of the Heritage Cup.
And no, that is not what it is anymore.
No, they were like, here's Von Wagner.
Now it is a half meat division. It's literally like all the matches are half meat, half chicken shit Tecker guy who cheats during all of his matches. That's what the Heritage Cup is now.
It's sliders. It's half meat.
The Heritage Cup should be made of half meat. Just ground meat shaped into half of a cup.
This makes me kind of sad as a vegan.
Yeah,
but
I know. I true. Yeah.
Be kind of animals. But I will say that I've almost gotten so far around the bend, I almost respect it. Like, they have to go, it takes a lot of work to book something that's ridiculous. And here we are, just doing that. Alex, this episode, here's the thing. Last week's episode was not good, but Oba Femi won. And whilst we did get to hear from Oba Femi today, it was early in the episode, so the excitement was gone a little bit.
And it certainly appears they are not riding Oba momentum. They are not riding it because they are saying, we are going to keep you a monster heel because we have no idea how to book you as somebody the crowd likes. We could just keep doing what you've been doing because it's obviously working, but we don't know how to write stories for that because we're either lazy or dumb or both. So we're just going to turn the playbook to big guy who's a heel champion and just go from there. We'll just do that. Why
mega baby face Oba Femi versus Dijak? Why give us that?
Why give us anything?
It's sad. Sad state of affairs. Snow puns, cold weather puns.
Yeah.
That's
it is very cold. It's very cold.
It is. And it was snowing like crazy today.
Yeah. I mean, we at least didn't get much of that over the past couple of days, but you can keep your -18. You can keep that. I don't want any more. I don't want any. Canada, take it back. Don't want any more. So, yeah.
Send it back with Joel Pearl. We don't need
Yeah, don't need any of that. So let me open up this document and see what people are saying to us. You were right about this whole, like, us going like, oh well, this could us predicting things. We should just never do that because nothing happens. Cora Jade going down with a very unfortunate, horrible
for
injury,
a
going to be
year.
out for a year with a torn ACL on a house show. Like, that's just a random ass thing where the knee gives way, and that just happens too often to too many people. That sucks for Cora because I'm sure she was going to win this battle royal, and I'm sure she was going to face Lyra, and I'm sure 90% sure she was going to beat Lyra, and now she's out for a year after having just been out for several months.
Yeah.
So
after
that really sucks for her. And so they were like, let's panic and do something completely different with what we were going to do with this title program. So I respect that they just didn't know what the hell to do, and so they chose something from way out of left field. I respect not that what they chose, but that they had to make a crazy, like, over the week. It was not, this is Tuesday, it happened over the weekend, right? Like Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's far too little time for these people to get the hamsters turning up there. So like they just, it couldn't happen. So I get why they had to panic and do something different. The Dusty Classic tournament, we were just wrong. You and I were just wrong about what we thought. And I believe a very large portion of the NXT viewership thought was the point of the Dusty Classic. I thought the point of the Dusty Classic was for Chase U to win it. And when you win the Dusty Classic, your prize is a shot at the tag team titles. I thought to myself, well, this is why you're doing the Dusty Classic, to actually give a storyline reason for them to right the ship, get all their money back, maybe win the titles back, do something like that. But that is not at all what the point of this was to them. They were doing this for an entirely different reason. We didn't see that coming because nobody should, because it doesn't make any sense to do it that way. So,
and it's just consistently like using it to advance singles stories is so annoying to me. That feels like where they're going with it now. But we got to see Duke Hudson actually wrestle. That's refreshing.
Yeah.
Months. I like.
And now with him out of the tournament, it will be several weeks.
See you at Heatwave?
At Heatwave. Paul Elizabeth, your dad. Writes in, greetings to the best team, best mod, and greatest society around. And a big howdy to say, sure, JBD Pringle of Everything Sucks, except all of you.
It's true.
That's nice.
Then tonight. Oh, real weird episode.
What an odd episode.
Like sometimes, like bad, yes, but like in the weirdest way possible. Like it's not like, oh, how am I supposed to believe Darby Allin can beat Miro or whatever? Like that's bad in a different way. This is so uniquely bad.
I'll tell you what wasn't bad. The match between Carmelo and Trick and Malik Blade and Edris Enofe.
No, that was great.
It was great. And here's the thing I've always said about, at least I've said, well, haven't always said it. I'll say the past 4 or 5, half a dozen matches that I've seen out of the tag team of Edris Enofe and Malik Blade. These guys are athletic as hell.
Yeah,
like they're fast. They work really well as a duo. Like their timing between the two of them is excellent. They've got really innovative moves. They do some really great stuff in the ring. It's too bad one of them has no personality, and neither of them can really talk. So I don't know where what's the, and listen, this is not a place where you can just say we're going to coast by on our athletic ability and nothing else. They're going to want you to do something else, and we've seen that the comedy does not work. So I wouldn't mind like figuring out a way to just give them a mouthpiece, but they don't really do that in this place either. They were really athletic here, and I watched them and I was like, this is great. And then I was like, maybe they go on a run. Like not in the Dusty Classic, but like go on a run, get a few wins under their belt. Ooh, like getting wins under your belt doesn't mean anything. But like maybe they get a tag team title run at some point. But like what? How do you book this team to like stay interesting when most of the stuff they do backstage is kind of either a dead fish or just serious eye rolling when it comes to comedy?
Yeah, that's the problem is. Like, I don't know if they're good on the mic or not because they've never been good. They've never been given anything good. Like right. It's like whose fault is it really? But they've grown a lot too. They've gotten a lot better in the ring. I don't know because they were on Level Up for a while. I think like maybe they just were there getting reps, putting in work.
Yeah,
but like
honestly, that's a lot of what developmental should be.
Correct. Yes. So, but they looked great here, and the in-ring chemistry was just there, like with these guys tonight. In the same way that Trick's grown a lot too. That's the rewarding part of watching this is like getting to see teams grow like that and talent grow like that. So, but man, they gotta call Carmelo up soon because he is a star, like just front to back star, and it's just time. It's just time. I know we're always wrong about that. We said Braun should have gotten called up like 6 years ago, but
of course it's time. It was time a long time ago. But then they started this thing with like who attacked Trick Williams? Did we ever figure that out? The last time we actually delved into it, Carmelo pretty obviously faked being attacked so he could accuse Ilya Dragunov of that. And that's gone nowhere. So Trick and Carmelo win the match. It's a very good match. Trick and Carmelo win. I feel like it's fairly obvious they were going to win. But they win, and then they're backstage celebrating that they're going to win the Dusty Classic and whatever. And then Ilya Dragunov shows up fresh off of his, well, I mean, I guess it's still going on. He doesn't wrestle during January. We kind of figured out.
As reported by Fightful Select, this was a pre-tape.
Yeah. So this is what we're doing. He's not cleared because Ridge Holland dropped him on his head. And they're doing something about this with Ridge
in
we'll try to get into later. Yes, in kayfabe. So now he's cleared, and he's going to have the match versus Trick at Vengeance Day on the cock. And listen, that's okay. But what they're doing here is they literally had a scene about it later. Like they didn't like let us fill in the gaps. They were like, no, we're just gonna smack you over the head with it later. Trick is going to win the semifinals. And then he is going to pull double duty at Vengeance. Do you have a cobweb on your face?
One of my perfect bangs has gone rogue, and I can't find it. It won't go. It's devastating. What is happening?
When you have a really long speech, I'm just gonna do this through the entirety of it and see how long you can concentrate. Just
get out of my face. Is it under my contacts? Like, what is happening? Talking, I figure this out.
Okay, good. Scripps.
Hello, it's me.
Oh Scripps,
I have a head cold, so I don't sound like myself. But I've got thoughts on all this, the things that you're talking about. Yeah, so, I'm here to listen to you.
Okay, good. Yeah, you listen, Scripps. You just listen. They're gonna do Trick and Melo in the Dusty Classic finals, possibly even winning the Dusty Classic finals. And later on that same episode, Trick Williams is going to face Dragunov in what is surely going to be a 28.5-minute long match. He's like, this is the story they've decided to give adversity to Trick Williams, that he has to wrestle twice. Once before, later that night, he has to face Trick Williams. He has to face Ilya Dragunov, which is enough for anybody to wrestle once in a week to face Ilya Dragunov, the kind of hell that man puts you through. So they are going to use this to maybe drive a wedge further between Carmelo and Trick. But they've gone away from this whole, did Carmelo Hayes attack Trick Williams or not? You know what I mean? Like, it seems to me, because they keep talking about, man, if we win the NXT, if I win the NXT title and we win the Dusty Classic, then we're going to beat Tony D and Stacks for the tag team titles, and I'll be the first guy ever to hold the NXT tag titles and the NXT title at the same time. And then they pan over to Carmelo, who's like, I had never thought of that. Perhaps I will do something to assure myself that I am indeed the first person to have to hold that honor. Like, this doesn't. You could do all of this, or you could just do the very cut and dried, obvious, good. I'm going to say good. It's obvious, but good booking of this is how Chase U gets its dignity back. But we're not doing that because, spoiler alert, Chase U loses their first round match later in the show to a team that's not even in NXT. So,
it should have been My Boys and Out the Mud.
mm-hmm.
But
okay,
and it would have been if the other scripts didn't take over. So, more boas, more poses. I got a gozes. Great to see you. What happened?
Scripts came in, and it was
what?
Lady Scripts. It was Lady Scripts. It was Mrs. Scripts. It was Scripts' wife.
She's just writing prescriptions constantly.
Mm-hmm. It was Jessica the Body Ventura.
Oh, Jessica, a fine gal, just a lovely lady.
Yeah.
It does seem weird to divert two storylines for no reason. It does. It does seem like abandoning what you were doing with Chase U to make the Trick and Melo story more convoluted instead of less feels like a bad idea. In fact, I would go as far as to say Trick and Melo, whilst looked great as tag partners, story-wise, should have just been fighting over the world title and not been in the Dusty Classic at all. Call me crazy. That should go to tag teams. So, this makes no sense. And I hate it. It's true.
Case perfect.
Because they're not perfect. They're too long. They're too long. I've betrayed them. I've neglected them. So now they betray me.
They betray you. Yeah, that's how it works. So the horse girl gets an interview about how I got 3 words for you. Yeehaw, bitch. She's gonna win the Battle Royal. They really did interview and spotlight a lot of the women.
They did
in the Battle Royal. They sure did. I'm trying to think of somebody in the Battle Royal that they didn't spotlight at all. Someone they may have actually given a jobber entrance to that they thought, oh, maybe if we hide her, people will forget about her, and then it'll be a swerve when we book her to win the match out of nowhere. Yes, Kate, is there somebody who fits that description?
I believe. Who is Roxanne Perez?
Oh, well, hold on. Judges? Yes, we would have also accepted Who is Roxy, but yes. Good. So anyway, Lola and Elektra are walking through, and we're gonna beat Lyra and her weirdo friend. And after we win that tag match, we're going to the Battle Royal. And when I win that Battle Royal, says Elektra Lopez, then it's going to be 2-on-1 because you're going to cash in and I'm going to have the match against Lyra, and it'll be 2-on-1 in a handicap match. And we are sure to win the NXT Women's Championship. And we will be the NXT Women's Champion. Surely, everything I'm saying in this statement will not prove to be false by the end of the night. Oh my God, Tatum Paxley. Because Tatum Paxley was in a doorway behind the glass, and she says, you're not even going to win the tag team match, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to win the Battle Royal, and then that means that Lyra won't have to defend her title at Vengeance Day, and so she will be champion forever. And at this point, I was like, you know what? Just have her win the whole damn thing. Have her win the match, because you're not going to have Lyra not defend it. So this will force you to tell me what the hell is going on with Tatum Paxley. Please. Please. But they didn't do that.
No, they did not.
Oba Femi came out looking just so damn gorgeous.
Oba Feminists, rise up in the chat.
Yeah.
I believe
his Twitter is at Nigerian Thanos with ones instead of eyes. So you could find him there. He's only got like 116 followers the last time when I followed him. So go follow. He's got no posts, but it's him. He posted it on his Instagram. So
I gotta go follow him right now.
Yeah. He's great. Gosh, wouldn't it be great if they harnessed the fact that everybody loves him and made him into...
Why do that when you can have the one dimension of heel that they know how to book for this archetype?
Right. So he has a really fun little promo where the crowd could have thrown him off, but did not. I mean, they were doing it to respect him, but it could have thrown him off very easily. They were doing like the Wakanda Forever thing while saying, ooh, yeah. After every statement he made. Maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know.
Then they're gonna have to turn him face.
Yeah. There we go. Yes, Nigerian Thanos with an underscore. It's great. He is talking about how he's going to dominate and he's going to turn any man who stands in front of him to dust. And I was like, please, all of the people I don't like should come and face you, and then you will turn to dust. And I will like that very much. I like you a lot, Oba Femi. You're fun. I like you. And And then Dragon Lee came out, and I was like, no, this is the whole point of this.
Dragon Lee.
I love Dragon Lee, but also the whole point of all of this was thank you, Dragon Lee. You did the Lord's work. You took the title off of Dominic Mysterio. But you have more important things to attend to on the main roster. That is why you dropped the title in the faction that you did, to go away and go to the main roster and do those things. But I forgot that his other people that he works with on the main roster are also in NXT for the time being. So let's just do that.
I'm not mad about a return shot.
I'm not mad about a return shot either, but I am if the return shot is to make sure we don't like and don't root for Oba Femi.
Yeah.
Let the crowd organically choose the people they love. Do not force them to not, because you don't know how to write for a giant black man with a winning smile who will turn his opponents to dust that we want to cheer for. Don't do it, because like if what you decided is that
you're better at it.
Preemptively, you've decided, nah, I don't want to do the work to try and do something fun. I'm just going to do the dumb, obvious thing. Then that's no fun at all. Oba Femi, I only say that because Dragon Lee says, I want a rematch. He says, he says, I only hope that you will do as I did and Wesley did before me and have these open challenges so everyone gets a chance to fight you for that title. It says the open challenges are done. They're a thing of the past. We will not be doing those anymore. The open challenge era is over, and I am the Oba. But anyway, he doesn't say that. But he says that I want a rematch, the rematch that I deserve as the champion. He says I will take it under advisement. What you do with a wrestler this size, with this skills, who we love, is you make him a guy who happily accepts all challengers,
especially a little dude like Dragon Lee,
because he knows he can beat them. You do not have a guy this size that we are willing to root for and love. Have little guys be like, no, there will be no open challenges. I shall never give everyone a title match. I am the Miz. No, you do not do that with a guy like this. Please just make him good and fun and make us like him. He
was smiling during this promo because he's so over. Like it's
Dragon Lee wants his match at Vengeance Day. They're going to give him the match at Vengeance Day. I hope it's going to be a great match. I have no doubt that it will be, but I hope that they don't have him like after the match just powerbomb Dragon Lee 10 times to make sure we hate him. Like they do that often enough that I'm just worried. That's all. I'm just worried.
You should be. They have a track record of this, but I'm normally in favor of guys and gals, wrestlers, emerging as heels because I think the face turns come about more organically. But like he has momentum and everybody loves him. So like just lead into it, like capitalize on it, strike while the iron's hot. He should be. I had the same thought. Like I'll take it under advisement angle. Is like, no, that guy can smush everybody. Like he should smush everybody that comes into his path until he gets to Dijak or Odyssey Jones because he ain't doing anything on the main roster or whoever until he finds a guy his size who feels like a viable threat, preferably somebody that also had wins. I know that's a crazy idea, but establishing some wins for a contender like that, not a bad call. But he should definitely, I was hoping we'd see him in action tonight against someone from Level Up and they would just get yeeted and everybody would go nuts and his statement would be like, that's what a champion does or whatever and walks off. Like, this is not my preferred direction, but also hopefully it's just for the Dragon Lee thing and then they kind of flip gears. Because I get wanting to give Dragon Lee a return shot and I get wanting to have his entrance back to the main roster a little bit cleaner, but Oba Femi rules.
Yeah, we shall see what they do. Jambeard, this is a completely natural thing to want. Is it wrong of me that I want an Oba versus Darby match so Darby gets launched 1,000 feet into the air? I would like to see how far Oba Femi could throw Darby Allin.
He can shot put couches.
Hold on. I want to know exactly how far, like down to the inch, down to the half an inch or whatever. And here's the other thing: is that who I believe wants to see that just as much as I do? Darby Allin. I believe Darby Allin wants to see how far this man can throw him, and so we should make it happen. Open the forbidden door just for this.
And it doesn't even have to be like, oh, where do we do it? On a football field, because he's going to launch him so far. It's not even like who's ring, who's whatever.
The University of Central Florida, you go to their football field.
That's it.
And you just have him throw Darby as far as he can for distance. There you go.
Stadium Stampede, but it's 10 seconds long. That's it.
Will Chisholm says, I love how Oba was cutting his promo and he had to smile because the fans loved him that much.
Yes.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. This is awesome. Do not. It is not often that you have the opportunity to have a guy who is like this, that the fans love. Why would you intentionally throw that away? I do not understand it. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but
well, that's my hope, is that maybe they weren't anticipating that, so they had this plan in mind, and then after the plan, they give us hopefully what they want to do. He's 22 years old. He has a smile and charisma and size and can sell and gets this. Like, lean into the fact that even you and I are like, well, we like talent, so I can't even say that. But we were like, awesome that this guy won the breakout tournament. Like, you and I like what they've done in a tournament with somebody.
I know.
That has never happened before.
Can't never, it's unheard of. Jambeard, of course. OMG, that's how Darby gets to the top of Everest. Oba just launches him up there. There you go. That's easy. I mean, like, why waste all that time climbing?
Not even in a shirt either. He just goes out there, base of the mountain. It's freezing cold. Launches him.
Jambeard says Oba is what we WWE wish the walking slow tree man known as Omos was. I mean, Omos was last in the Slender Jim Battle Royal.
Slender James.
In Slimmer Jam. The Slimmer Jam Battle Royal.
Did they ever find the car that got stolen?
I don't know.
Did they ever find the Slim Jim car? I'm going to ask Sean.
I don't know. And Luis saying that Oba would throw Darby from the ring right into the middle of the ramp. Yes. To the stage.
With clearance, yeah.
In NXT, he'd throw it to throw him to the stage. Throw him all the way to the stage. Into the LED boards.
Maybe I'm trying to think, like, does he have the precision to get him through the curtain? Like, he just disappears.
They found it apparently in Chicago.
I mean, good, but also that makes me sad. Like, I would love for that to be like a whodunit for like a year. They can't find it.
Now, this is the forbidden door. I just want to see Eddie Kingston versus Oba. The promos would be crazy. We'll just him spinning back fists to the middle of Oba's chest. And he just goes.
Yes. Eddie Kingston versus Gabe Kidd this weekend at Battle in the Valley. Like, my favorite match on the card with clearance. And that card had Shingo and Mox. It had a really great women's match between Trish Adora and Julia. It had CSJ and Bad Dude Tito versus Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb. That match, Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd, go watch it if you can find it. It's incredible. They just talk so much shit and beat the ever-living crap out of each other. That was pro wrestling that happened this weekend. So good.
The headline used when the Slim Jim car was found on Fightful, fast meat found.
Jeremy Lambert special right there.
Hey, so there was who was it talking to? Eddie Thorpe? Oh, Hank and Tank. And a guy I've never seen before. I thought, was that Odyssey Jones? It was not Odyssey Jones.
No.
The Hank and Tank and a guy I've never seen before, awkwardly talking over the shoulder of Eddie Thorpe, who was not facing them for zero reason. But they were like, wow, man, the underground match, that was so cool. Yeah, well, when someone disrespects your heritage, you really have to turn around so your chest faces the camera and your mouth doesn't face the microphones at all. It's really important that you stage a scene this way when I'm talking. Like, I don't understand why they did that, but anyway.
You know what? Like, if you're sitting at a computer and someone's leaning over you, I hate that. Like, someone's just right there. It's like, this would be my nightmare if I was Eddie Thorpe. Like, personal space, people.
Yeah. So then Trey Bearhill, formerly known as Bear Tree Hill, comes in, and they are he and Eddie Thorpe are commiserating over being having that heritage and trying to represent here. They give the where their tribe is from, which I thought was kind of cool. They met and they introduced each other in that way. And then they just put some racist words in Dijak's mouth, and that was not fun. Hate to interrupt your little powwow. And then, to Trey Bearhill's credit, he immediately cuts him off and gets up in his face, which is what you should do. That's what you should do. Yeah. But she challenges him to a match, and Dijak versus Trey Bearhill is added to the show tonight. And I was like, isn't Trey Bearhill feuding with Lexus King?
He is, Alex, and boy, do we get to see that later.
Oh, later we'll pick that back up. Okay, fine, good. There you go.
Man, sure seems like One Tree Bearhill and Eddie Thorpe have something in common, which would be a great way to capitalize on people. One who just lost a tournament and maybe would need some help to win another tournament. And have them as a tag team.
No.
In a tag team tournament. But no.
Yeah.
Do this creative 2 weeks earlier.
No, I don't know. No,
it's a tournament right there.
I don't know. I don't know. But yes, this is right. This is later where Trick comes like, you know what? I'm sorry I got upset about before when I said I didn't that we couldn't have the finals of the tournament on the same day as me facing Dragunov. That was silly of me. Let us go and win the tournament, and also then I will win the title match later that day. We are very excited about this, and so yeah, he's going to face him at Vengeance Day.
This is how I know I'm in my 30s and not my 20s. When storylines go on this long, I'm like, just go to therapy, guys. Get it resolved. Move it along.
October
is when this started.
Trick was attacked in October.
It's January 16th, Alex.
He was attacked in October. You'd think that the police would have done all the interviews by now and narrowed it down to the final suspect, but apparently they don't do that in NXT.
There's Are they going to revisit that when Dragunov's back? Like, are we putting that on ice for just like a full 6 weeks?
I don't know. Like, Trick was supposed to be in a fatal 4-way to determine who was going to face Dragunov at the second night of Halloween Havoc. And before that could happen, he got taken out. And then Carmelo won the triple threat instead of a fatal 4-way. And then he lost to Dragunov because Trick Williams came out at the second night of Halloween Havoc, October 31st. And it was like this tease of hey, was it you who did it? No, it wasn't me. I mean, you didn't see who did it, did you? Yes, I did not see who did it. Well, then no, it wasn't me. If you have no evidence that it was me. And then Lexus King was like, it was me. Just kidding, it wasn't. Thank you for helping me to get a match on the pay-per-view that I lost. And now I will confess that it was not, in fact, me who attacked Trick Williams. And then a couple of weeks later, Melo decided to almost certainly fake, but there's no evidence he faked himself being taken out, and then accused Dragunov of not only himself, but also Trick being taken out back in October, which makes no sense for Dragunov to do it at all. I don't know, but they have not addressed any of that since. What they have done is
also,
put
didn't Carmelo get a text and all this too?
That he was either giving a text or sending a text. Was he texting Lexus King? Who was he texting? We don't know. But also, Dragunov, instead of actually addressing any of this or holding any ill will for Carmelo for accusing him of assault and framing him for such a thing, just decided, you know what? Let's have a match with Ridge Holland. That'll end well for me. And we're just
and off to the races we go.
Jambeard says, and if you need help getting closer to your partner, Blue Chew Code Fightful is right for you.
Well, thank you for that, but we don't have Blue Chew today, actually.
Oh, that's too bad.
But
Too bad.
we will. That's like double money for us. If people go to bluechew.com code Fightful and you paid a super chat to make that segue,
Right.
that's what we call like a double dub.
Mhm.
Like that is a
Mhm.
double win for us. So people take it.
Right.
Should we do some puns because they are stacking up? Because you guys roll, and there's some really good ones.
All right. Let's get them. Let's get them done. All right, these are good. Oh, we got 42. Okay, at least probably more than that anyway. Here we go. Luis Polito says snow puns. Would NWA count as a pun? Just kidding. LOL.
That's
Kim
the
Gray.
nose.
Kim Gray says it's 9 degrees in Mississippi. I'm not cut out for this. Lance Snowstorm. It's a snow day. Yes, it is. Snow too damn cold. Steve Austin. Meet Norma says Andrade El Edel Snow. Snowman Reigns.
Andrade left the company before any commentators could get his name right. Poor guy.
Mm-hmm. Andrade El Edel Snow. Seth Friesen Rollins. That's really good.
That's really good. I like them all.
Abominable Snow Person.
I like that because it's respectful pronouns too.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Chris Pereira. Luis very helpfully telling us this is the leader on the board. Oba Femi. It's concise.
Of course it is.
I like it. Pieces says El Fantasno, the coldest in the world, Maki Snow.
I like it.
True Infamous says Tony Snowstorm.
Very good.
T Electric Mayhem says Thunder Snow Rosa. And
Thunder
Austin.
Snowsa, I think, was right there, right?
Thunder
Snowsa.
Snowsa. Well, thunder snow is a phenomenon when there's a thunderstorm and snow at the same time. I learned that
Thunder snow.
Mm-hmm. Meet Norma says Kenny Snowmega, Kenny by God Snowmega.
That's the one.
And Mercedes Snow Day.
Oh, like Monet. Got it.
Mercedes Snow Day.
Snow Day.
Mercedes Snow Day. Oh my God, it's a snow day.
Oh my God, where is Mercedes Snow Day showing up? Let's all go crazy about it.
True Infamous says Mitcha Snoku driver. Louisville
That's
says
the top 3 for me. Mitcha Snoku driver's really good.
This is mine. Let's see. Louisville knows how to tickle me. Bam Bang Big Below Zero.
I thought, know what I respect about that? I thought it was going to be Bam Bam Biggle Snow, but it's not. You went the extra mile.
Bam Bam Big Below. Bam Bam Big Below Zero.
Big Below. Yeah.
Big Below.
Respect.
Ricardo says it's a snow day. Yes, it is. Henry the Casey says Seth Friesen Rollins. I believe we got that one first.
Very good. Yeah.
CZ says Alex Snoplowski.
That's you.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says that is me. Snowball fight forever. Snowball fight forever. Road dog sled race.
That's very good too. I like that because it's expansive on our category.
Chris Pereira says far too cold Scorpio. It is far too cold. It is far too cold. Jambeard says, I mean, Lady Frost.
That's true. It's right there.
Tom LaValle says Mustaflery.
Oh,
Mustafa Fleury. Mustafa Fleury. Mustafa Fleury.
Son of the Indies.
Orion Ben says Tony DeGlaciarino. And Snow Mounds and Big Snow Angel. Me Norma says, well, it's the big snow. And also Chris
Snow, yeah.
Chris Jarrett Snow.
Very good.
CZ says Snowfy Skiington. Snowfy Skington. Snowfi's.
It's
Kofi.
a little tough on the
Yeah.
back end, but it's really good.
Lieutenant Colonel says carrying cross-country skiing.
Very nice.
It's going to take you just as long to get to your destination by cross-country skiing as it will take for them to actually finally figure out a way to get this guy over on the main roster.
Just let him be a dude. Oh, I'm a weird robot for some reason.
How far have we gone? How far have we gone? 8 yards. Okay. It's 20 miles. Jambeard says Glacier.
Oh, there you go.
It's good. Ricardo, name TBD, says Snow Mercy. And also from Gemini season, Lola Ice.
That's very good.
Alpha Bill says Penta L below 0.
Penta L below 0.
Below 0! Miedo! Insert clever Tegan Knox pun says Tegan Woolly Socks. And John Moxski.
Ooh, John Moxski's really good.
Chris Pereira says Bam Bam Biggest Snow.
Very good.
Okay. Very good. Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, without proper snow tires, I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive. True Infamous says Alexa Blizzard.
That's very good.
Ricardo, name TBD, says Snow to Sleep.
That's really good.
Coldberg. And of course, Cold Dust. Cold Dust.
Of course.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, all is sleet wrestling.
You a homer. You're such a homer for sleet.
Pieces says Tetsuya Nice Snow.
Champion.
Orion Ben says Adam Cold Slay. That's also very good for Christmas puns. Cold Slay. No.
Adam Cold
Slay. Electric Mayhem says Snowa Joe. Snowa Joe.
You could also do Snowa Sikoa or Solo Snakoa.
Yes.
So Snowa? There's something there.
Solo Sisnoa.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
We found it.
Electric Mayhem says Snowballs Mahoney.
That's so good.
Snowlistico.
And
Snowman Adam Page.
Snowman Adam Page is really
I want to
good.
see now I need to see I need to see somebody mock up a little animation of a snowman doing a buckshot lariat
with the mustache.
With the mustache, but also hitting somebody with a stick. Like that's his arm for the lariat. Lieutenant Turtle Photo says chin up, tits out, and watch for the snowshoe.
That's very good.
Jambeard says Ray Kleenex and Elva King Snow.
Elva King Snow is really good too.
Jambeard says Bronze Snowman, Snowberg, and of course, well,
it's
the
big
snow. Electric Mayhem says Anthony Snowens, shovel me, daddy ass. True Infamous says Snowmoss.
Oh, Snowmoss is really good.
Feeling Creepy says Snowball Mike Bailey. Gringo Snowco. And Thea Hale.
That's so perfect. I didn't
Louisville
think about
says,
little Thea Hale.
Techno temps too damn cold. Ricardo.
My commitment to this extremely average tag team and your commitment in the chat to popping me with that extremely average tag team.
Double points for anybody who can figure out how to work Big Josh into a pun.
Keep up,
Ricardo,
please. We need to take a break. We need to talk about this on the main channel. We need to, okay? This is not something that needs to be kept behind the walls of Select. I have been a wrestling fan since 2009, and I pride myself on going back and watching old wrestling and discovering eras from before I was watching. I ask friends of mine for matches, for wrestlers to go look at. They're like, oh, how about Perry Saturn? Nobody ever told me there was a man just named Big Josh who debuted with two bears that were alive and peeing down the ramp because they were so heavily stoned that he was harnessing, smiling like an idiot, and they just walked to the ramp, and then the bears just went away with the handler, and he just got in the ring. Nobody told me this man existed. And then when they did tell me, they were like, he was the first Doink. Who the hell cares about the first? Well, he was the Twisted Evil Clown. I know. Burying the lead, skipping the important part. He was WCW Trios champion, I found out. Big Josh. Frat bro name. Dressed as a lumberjack. Lumberjacks come into the ring with bears. There's no payoff for it. They just pee down the ramp and then go away with the handler. How was this guy not the biggest star in wrestling in the 90s? Big Josh. Justice for Big Josh. I'm a Big Josh Stan account. Tell us in the Tell us in the chat if you want us to do a watch along of Big Josh's debut. Because we're going to do it, but it would be nice to know that anybody else is going to tune in. I don't really care if you do. We have to do it. Anyway, we can resume puns now. Big slosh. Boom.
Okay. We'll go back to the puns. We'll let them repopulate. We'll get back to the puns.
Wait, let me pull this one up because I think it could be a top 5, maybe top 3. Okay. And it's not a super chat one, which we don't normally pull up. But my God, the work that was done on Shovel Up.
Goodness. Shovel Up.
Excellent.
Shovel Up.
Hey, you know what animals can survive in the wild?
What?
Giant bears.
Yeah, that's true.
They can survive.
No, those are real. They're real bears, Cyclo. They're real bears. They walk on their hind legs all the way down the ramp. Yeah, those are real bears. They're real bears. Yeah. Also, this just
Kate.
Lyra, Valkyria, and Tatum Paxley defeat Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez in the dumbest way I think I've ever seen a match end.
There were a lot of what the heck happened moments on the show, Alex. This might have taken the cake.
The match is fine. Tatum is dressed as Lyra Valkyria.
Yes.
I didn't catch this until later when I was confused as to who the legal person was because they looked so much alike. I was like, oh, okay. She was dressed as Lyra.
They just did that with Fallon Henley and Tiffany Stratton like a few months ago. But
right. The match was fine. I don't know if I have anything bad to say about the match until the end when Tatum hits a crossbody on Elektra Lopez. Just a regular off the top rope crossbody that gets a 2 count, and that's it in every match ever. And the pinfall is broken up by Lola Vice. And she and Lyra square off for a second, and then she's going to go and do her spinning back heel kick to Lyra. But Tatum shoves Lyra out of the way and takes the full brunt of the spinning back heel kick herself. Lola Vice and Lyra then tangle up by the ropes while Tatum falls down dead on top of Elektra Lopez, who has been laying on her back from taking a simple crossbody for the past 4.5 minutes. Now, it's not really that long, but it feels that long.
It is when it's half the match time or whatever.
It felt very long for anyone to be laying out from a crossbody.
A regular crossbody.
She didn't kick out of the first 2 count, but she was still laying there. And then stuff happened. And then a whole other ass pinfall was counted off her being cross-bodied. And so Tatum Paxley's unconscious body pinned, I would assume, Elektra Lopez's unconscious body, so that they won the match. And Lyra's like, oh, I guess we won. And then like Lola and Elektra like left being very angry at Tatum and Lyra. I don't know, man.
There's simply must be a better way. It's never good to have your champion stunned that she won.
Mm-hmm.
Like just looking around like, oh, guess we won the match. Which wasn't supposed to be like a wee match anyway. Yeah. This is bewildering. I'm not sure where it's heading.
I don't know.
But I don't like it. I was so confused by this. Largely,
that's right. It's true. This is the Trick Williams headbutt finish from 4 months ago, and that sucked too.
Yeah, that did suck.
When Trick Williams took a headbutt and fell back and pinned somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just have a wrestling match, you know?
I don't know, man. It just feels like there's just so much extra stuff. Anyway,
they go so far out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got some chats about Big Josh.
As we should.
Jambeard says the funny thing is Big Josh ain't very big. He's only 6 feet tall. Big enough to carry 2 bears to the ring.
Big in spirit.
And Louise saying that Braun Breaker is 5'10". He was tall enough.
That's true. If you can be meaner than evil at 5'10", you can be Big Josh at 6 foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did also see someone in the chat say, like, Big Josh versus Oba Femi when, and that's a dream match I didn't know I had.
Right.
Largely because I didn't even know who Big Josh was.
Well, he died a while ago. Kitty Ara says Big Josh was tagging with Tom Zenk, who I never heard of. You ever heard of Tom Zenk? Z-Man? Z-Man, Tom Zenk?
Oh, Z-Man. Yes.
The Z-Man. He was the Z-Man. Also, that sounds like Big Josh and the Z-Man definitely sound like either a duo in the morning on your favorite classic rock station.
Big Josh and the Z-Man.
Or roommates at that frat house.
Maybe both.
Big Josh and the Z-Man definitely are the guys who take the money from the freshmen for the solo cups when they're taking money from the cake.
100%.
Big Josh and the Z-Man. Also, you got to watch the Z-Man around the freshman girls, because
he's the Z-Man, you know.
He's the Z-Man. He didn't So.
Hey, it's Big Josh and the Z-Man with your morning drive.
The Z-Man is the guy on the soundboard who just does the funny boing oing. That's what he.
Yeah.
Anyway, Big Josh was tagging with Tom Zenk, and Dustin Rhodes for the trios run. Big Josh, the Z-Man, Tom Zenk, and Dustin Rhodes, who is still currently a wrestler, who has a TNT title shot tomorrow. 0 bears. No
or
bears.
Z's, for that matter.
Z-Man had a match with Giant Baba. So that's Z-Man's story.
Your Mount Rushmore is just 4 Big Joshes. That's it. Trios titles in WCW not long lived. I think there were like 4 champions. There might have been 20 more, but I stopped when we found out who Big Josh was. So
in the back, there was a monologue being given by Grace, Ariana Grace, about stuff while these women are like training or whatever. Stevie Turner said some things. She's like, just think, girls, one of us could become the next women's champion. And then during the battle royal, spoiler alert, She's eliminated during the commercial break.
Yeah, big ceremonious return.
Big ceremonious return for Stevie Turner,
you know what
unfortunately.
This is?
Yeah, this is you getting even, I'm sure.
They fear me.
Yeah,
she knows.
She
knows that if she gets too hot too soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see.
Ridge Holland defeated Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey, but he doesn't wrestle like that. Do you notice this?
I know, but you said the name, so
I know. Okay, I just like it's funny to me. Like my backstage persona has very sloppy bangs, but I wrestle slick back. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's like you got casual coffee, you got your morning coffee, who's just like hanging out, and then you have like game day.
You got your morning coffee.
You got your morning coffee, and then there's just like, I'm ready for a match, Joe Coffey.
That's good. Anyway, Ridge Holland beats Joe Coffey with his driver thing that he does, and then Gallus attacks and they beat him up, and they keep looking up the ramp, and the first thing that happens when they start beating him up is they cut to a camera looking up the ramp, and nobody comes, and I was like, cut to that camera too early there, didn't you? And then they keep cutting back to that camera, and I was like, oh, I get it. The story is nobody likes Ridge Holland. Nobody likes him. He doesn't have a friend in the world. He's having his ass beat by 3 guys that also nobody likes. And we're supposed to feel sorry for Ridge Holland because he's getting his ass beat by 3 heels, and nobody in the back will come out to rescue him. Even though, as like Vic Joseph being like, he's a family man. He's a family man. Book a man with a family. Ridge Holland. You are not doing what you think you are doing with this. Listen, I don't think a very large portion of the audience is ever going to put behind them the thing that they saw over and over again because you decided to replay it, him injuring Big E. But since that program that the Brawling Brutes had with the New Day, they turned face and were getting really good reactions from people. Just recently, the Brawling Brutes had several matches in NXT. They teamed with Tyler Bate for one of them. The Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland, Butch and Ridge Holland had a whole ass feud with OTM out the mud, and the crowd loved them. And then, for literally no reason, you said we cannot have Butch, Pete Dunne, stay on the main roster and maybe bring Tyler Bate in to be his new tag partner, and have Ridge go to NXT without first having Ridge be a total dick to Butch in front of everybody.
Inexplicably,
the biggest audience you have is the one that watches SmackDown. So everybody watches SmackDown and watch Ridge like walk out on Butch and have Butch get his ass kicked by himself.
For no reason. And then a smaller audience watches NXT. I would go so far as to say the grand majority of people who watch NXT also watch Raw and SmackDown. A very large portion of people who watch Raw and SmackDown do not watch NXT, but you are showing them this thing on NXT. But the most recent thing they saw was they saw him walk out on his tag team partner, show up, and immediately get put into a program with Ilya Dragunov where he injured the guy, but having he's like, I'm really sorry about that. That's not who I want to be. I don't want to. And nobody's falling for it because it's the most clumsily told redemption arc I think I've ever seen. Well, and what my issue with it is, I have several issues with it, but this week my latest issue with it is I don't think anybody thought he did it on purpose. And they're almost treating it like, let me clarify, that was not intentional. Like, we knew that. I would hope pretty much everybody that saw that happen was like, that was not an intentional thing to do to someone in a wrestling ring. So when you do this almost like, let me sit down and clarify interview, and it's all, I mean, my God, like, I think we all assumed he felt really bad about what happened and it was an accident. So, like, bringing this back into play in this way,
the idea that there's an
work.
alternative that he doesn't.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
The idea that you think you have to show us him feeling sorry for a thing that we have to assume he feels sorry for just as a human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think the main problem is that the first time we saw him after that tragic accident, you had him come out and cut a promo about how he was proud he had done it.
Yeah.
You wanted to get heat off of it. So like that, like it's been so all over the place, but what you're trying to do is like be like, oh, nobody likes Ridge Holland. Maybe I'll be the one who likes Ridge Holland. That's what you want everybody in the audience to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not going to do that. So it doesn't,
And the way to get us to like someone is not like earn it the right way, right? Like do the creative work to have it done the right way, which this doesn't feel like it is to me. But we'll see. I guess we'll see where it goes. This also just feels very disconnected from where we started. Mm-hmm. Like we've kind of dropped the Dragunov thing, and now he's just.
So Kalani Jordan is backstage.
She's gorgeous, by the way.
She is.
Good Lord.
She is. Good for her.
She's beautiful today.
She is working out with a pair of stretchy bands, doing some hammer curls and some forward rows and stuff. And she is having a monologue about how I am so sick and tired of everybody saying to be patient, be patient, be patient. I don't want to be patient anymore. I'm coming for that. And for 40 seconds, it's like she's speaking, she's talking to herself. And then they pull out and it's Brindley Reese who's doing like the push-ups where you're doing a handstand push-ups against the wall. And she's like, wow, it's great. Oh, I'm like, how is her gimmick just not Thea Hale, but more? Like, because it's just because she. Here's the other thing: if you told me, like, if it came out, oh yeah, Brindley Reese and Thea Hale are actually sisters, I'd be like, they look very, very similar in the face. And I wouldn't be surprised because they tried to tell us that Damon Kemp was a whole ass other person other than Gable Stevenson's brother, to the point where they were almost feuding against each other for a second. So like, I wouldn't be surprised
Jason Jordan was Kurt Angle's kid. So
that's true. Well, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the pull-away shot made me laugh because she's just upside down. I really like whoever said it.
We're gonna be the champions. Yeah.
Whoever said last week that she should be in a pyramid scheme, I'm like, I love that idea.
She's an MLM Instagrammer. So
yeah, I'm in.
Good. Cool. Can you tell me what this Braun and Baron Corbin thing was? It? What was that? What was? Just all I got out of it was a bunch of like mildly homophobic jokes about thinking about another man in the shower. That was like, there was a bunch of those. There were like 5 of them in sort of succession. It was supposed to show that they're like, they have good chemistry, but they don't like each other. But and so like, are they going to win? You're just going to put these 2 people together and then like force them to do comedy stuff when like one of them should be on the main roster, like doing some serious work, and you can't ever call him up. The other guy is Baron Corbin. Like, I don't know what this, like,
this isn't who either of these guys are. It might be who Big Josh is. Rest in peace, the late Big Josh. No one told me he passed away either. So thank you for not telling me about him while I could still appreciate the living legend. But they do a really bad job with this specific thing where like the humor and stuff feels like it's from a late 90s comedy when nobody in NXT acts that way. Like Baron Corbin is not that guy, and Braun Breaker certainly isn't that guy.
No.
That doesn't feel like a viable way that they would be talking to each other, because it doesn't really feel like a viable way that anybody in 2023 talks to each 2024.
You don't need to do like the thing of like hey, so anyway, I was thinking the wolf dogs are gonna come in, we're gonna do blah 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 blah. Talks a long time. Blah 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 blah. Wait a minute, hold on. What'd you just say? And to Braun's credit, he said wolf dogs a minute and a half ago. So why would he think you were talking? Interrupt him sooner, Baron. Like, this is a script that you look at, and if you're smart, you go, we need to cut out a whole bunch of this extra words nobody cares about, because here are your jokes. Boom, boom, boom. You get 3 of them, and you're out. This was a long-ass segment that did not need to be this long. I don't know what it really accomplished in any way. I saw a lot of people saying how funny it was. I didn't think it was all that funny, but it was certainly too long and overstayed its welcome. Why was Braun getting dressed as he walked into the shot? Like, he was like, you told me the interview was at 9:30. Is that how it works in NXT? That your tag partner gets the memo of when your interview is and texts you? You don't get that memo? And then like you walk in going, oh my God, I have to put on my jacket for this interview that's happening indoors. I'm late for the interview. I'm putting on my jacket. I'm sorry, none of this made sense. But like, as we say, NXT, when it's good, it doesn't make sense.
When it's good, it doesn't make sense. I actually don't mind the pairing of the 2 of them together. I just don't buy that this is how either of them talk or behave. Also,
because we've seen them talk and behave elsewhere that feels much more natural. And so then,
yes, in previous segments, I was like kind of getting in on this. Yeah. Also, I'm not saying that there's like a major crossover between New Japan and NXT. Those are probably the 2 furthest products apart in wrestling.
Well, yeah.
But like the War Dogs and the Wolf Dogs, when the War Dogs are as good as they are, maybe could have been. Don't.
The wolf dog. He's the lone wolf, and he's got the dog in him or whatever. I get it, but
they should be wolfer than evil.
That's good.
Burn the dog ships.
So, as we said, Chase U's out. They're out in the first round. I can't conceive of what you're doing with them even in the tournament. If you weren't going to pay off the story of them like getting redemption by winning this tournament. Like Riley Osborne, hey, JCJ being like, I'm in charge here, and my great idea is going to win us the Dusty Classic. Mr. Chase, you're not teaming with Mr. Chase. You're not teaming with Duke Hudson anymore. Riley's teaming with Duke Hudson. I was like, honestly, that's really inspired. I really can't wait to see the big strong guy chuck around the little guy for offense. That's going to be a lot of fun in all of the matches we're going to see them in. Certainly more than 3.
Yeah,
because they're definitely going to win the tournament. And they have 1 match, and who knows if they're ever going to tag together again. And LWO is great, but again, they're not on the show, and they're not winning the tournament. And they also they're in the middle of another thing happening on SmackDown.
Yeah,
it's not like
mid-program.
It's like you have nothing for them on the main roster, so they're going to go and do something for a little while in NXT. They've got something to do on the main roster. Anything can happen at any time. And I know we can't plan for it, but like the Cora Jade thing is proof. Just don't have them. You don't need to have your talent that's in the middle of storylines elsewhere, wrestling matches that don't really mean anything somewhere else. They just don't. So I don't know. It was a good match. Yay. But it doesn't make any sense to me. The LWO wins this when you have a ready-made story. Even if Chase U wins this match, but loses to Trick and Melo in the second round because Trick and Melo's story you've deemed more important for the Dusty Classic, having them go out in the first round makes 0 sense.
No sense at all. No sense at all. I guess they wanted to do it for the heel face pairing, but to go out of the way to have JC Jane, a student at the university who is now in charge of the university, come up with this idea to have Riley Osborne, who was in the finals of the breakout tournament, to pair with Duke Hudson, who I want to see wrestle, who I never get to see wrestle, to lose here makes no sense. Because why are you having her think up this idea if they're just going to job out? Like, I don't get it. I don't get what the relationship with them and the current tag champions is, or without the Mud or whoever. Like, that whole thing felt like it was going somewhere so great and then just didn't go anywhere. Very, very frustrating. And like, I know you don't like Chase U, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people did. And for them to just kind of,
I'm all for them. I'm all for them actually having good storytelling behind them.
Of course, yeah. But like, my point being, like, they had momentum, and they just were like, nah.
Well, the storyline dictates this. Like, how are we going to get the good name of the university back? I know. Let's put you guys in the Dusty Classic. The next step of that is where you will lose in the first round inauspiciously. The next step in the story is you win by the skin of your teeth over and over again, and somehow against a former multi-time U.S. champion, like a main roster guy, and a former NXT champion. The ringers of singledom, of single heeldom put together you are massive underdogs in the final, and somehow you pull together and pull off the crazy upset to win the Dusty Classic. That's the story. How is that not the story? It is a tried and true story, yes, but sometimes the playbook sometimes the play is in the playbook because it works all the time. It's the problem is they keep going back to the plays that don't work. Hey, it's 3rd and 10. Let's run a draw. No, we're not going to get that 10 yards.
Sometimes they go back to the plays that worked, but they were just a part of Shawn Michaels' career. Alex, I was so confident Chase U was going to win that despite them having this gambling issue, I would have put money on it.
Yeah.
And I would have been looking for guidance on how much money I should put on who. Because I would want to win. And I would want to win with information from, I don't know, the sports book that has like the earliest betting odds in the world.
Right. BetOnline.ag is the official betting partner of Fightful. 100% of the time when you get the odds from Fightful, they are coming from BetOnline.ag. And it's not just wrestling, it's not just MMA and boxing. It's football, it's basketball, baseball, hockey. They have the earliest lines. You can bet big with the high limits and rebet functionality. They have the fastest payouts with winnings paid in minutes and the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit. They've been trusted for 25 plus years. It's not some fly-by-night company. BetOnline AG has been there. They've done that. In addition, they're trusted by millions. They've got VIP rewards programs and a ton of popular games. BetOnline.ag, that's where I go to make my bets. That's where I suggest you go to, my friends. Please just bet what you can and bet responsibly.
And hey, when you're winning so much money because you have the best one in the game, you can spend $5 a month of that on FightfulSelect.com. So much contract news coming up. You got Drew Galloway. You've got Mercedes Watch. You've got Becky and Seth. You've got all of these WWE releases whose 90 days are up. Nick Nemeth is in TNA. What is 2024? That's a wild sentence for so many reasons. FightfulSelect.com, where you can get all of the information. You can get accurate information because not everyone's as responsible as Mustafa Ali when they're aggregating, okay? Few and far between are the Mustafa Alis of the world in aggregation of wrestling journalism. $5 a month. Come hang out. It's a good time. Also, Alex and I are just like chaotic behind the paywall, so.
Very chaotic. speaking of chaotic, JC Jane appears to have been recruiting all of the cheerleading team from Chase U into an OnlyFans conglomerate. Like, if this, although, hold on, everybody who writes for the show is 60 years old. It's probably like a bikini calendar. Like, it's a bikini calendar, isn't that what it is?
They're gonna do a car wash and a bikini calendar.
It's a bikini calendar. You're Miss March and you're Miss November. Like, that's what this is. I was like, if it wasn't 2024, I'd say it has the air of like a sitcom from the 80s doing like, the cheerleading squad's gonna put together a calendar. And that's probably what they've written for JC Jane to do with all of the girls in Chase U. And we're gonna get to see the calendar.
Yep.
Because, of course. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Puppies. Yeah. So like, but JC Jane's like, hey, Jasmine, come here. Because she's like, because Carmen Petrovich apparently is a student at JCU. Did you know that? I didn't know that. She is. But Carmen and Thea Hale are part of this crew, and they all got to get warmed up for the Battle Royal. JC Jane's not in the Battle Royal. Why would JC Jane want a shot at the World Women's title? She wouldn't. That's silly. So she's not in it. But Thea Hale and Carmen Petrovich are. But JC Jane's like, hey, Jasmine. I don't know who Jasmine is. Luis doesn't know who Jasmine is. Luis knows who everybody is.
Luis knows who everybody is.
Jasmine's like, hey, Jasmine, come here. You did a really great job. Could I get your number so we could go and have coffee or something? And I was like, what? Listen.
Coffee, you said?
Listen. All I'm saying is if they start bringing back HLA, then we're gonna have some problems even more so with NXT and the way that
we're gonna quit.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know what this is about, but we'll see. This is all being filmed, by the way, by Anonymous through a window.
Of course it is.
So Big Ange needs motivation from Tony D and Stax. Her name is Big Ange. Don't dare use the fake name that they've given her. Her name is Big Ange. It will always be Ange. Always be big. It will always be Ange, and preceded by an adjective that tells you how large she is. She is Big Ange.
She is the best Big Ange there ever was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be, because she's the one and only Big Ange. And you cannot just give her some Adriana BS name that white girls probably co-opted from Italian culture. She's not Adriana. She's Big Ange. The way she talks, the way she moves.
It's perfect. Anyway,
she
also Big Ange does not need a pep talk from Tony D.
No.
And Stax. She knows what her job is. She's an enforcer. I did like the idea of like, hey, don't you remember that time where you punched that little Susie in the face? Yeah, but she deserved it. Like the way she says it. Yeah, but she deserved it. Don't you remember that other time where the Carlucci twins were getting up in your? Yeah, but they deserved it. And she sounds like Ray Romano's brother from Everybody Loves
Raymond. God, she does. She's
Brad Garrett. She's Brad Garrett. She's like if Steer's freaking out over Jimmy's Johns, we know exactly what she is. But anyway, just call her Big Ange. Why is she Adriana? If she was Angela Rizzo, I would have no problem with it. Ange is not short for Adriana. That's dumb. She's Big Ange. You gave her a name. It was a great name. We all loved the name. Why did you change the name?
Alex, what I do appreciate about this, and you've been Team Tony D from the beginning, and I also enjoy myself, Tony D as well. But they are legitimately, they did like all that mob stuff with the Escobar family. Yeah. Like they've gone serious comedy pretty effortlessly and really, really well. Like it's very impressive. And they haven't had to change completely who they are in the process to do so. Which is nice.
So Von Wagner is going after the Heritage Cup. We haven't seen him since he had those little sausages at Rob Stone's wife's house. That was before Thanksgiving. So he's taken 2 months off. And now he's just hanging out in the locker room and he's like, "Hey, that's a nice trophy you got there." He's not a trophy. This is the Heritage Cup. Oh, can I beat you for it? I don't think you will. It's just why doesn't Robert Stone just explain Von Wagner the way things work? He has to be explained 4 separate times in this scene how the rules of the Heritage Cup go.
Alex. I was going to throw everything in my apartment out the window. Noam Dar and the Metaphor are perfect. They've never done anything wrong in their whole lives.
Well,
never.
You and I differ on that point, but go on.
No, that wasn't a question. It's a fact. They've never done anything wrong in their whole lives. Yeah. The booking of them has led them astray on occasion, but that's not their fault. They're perfect. I cannot believe Briggs. I was like, okay, out of the wheelhouse, but I get it because they're trying to establish them and whatever. Von Wagner and the way that they're getting into this is that he doesn't know how to do math. Has he never seen a Heritage Cup match even? Just never watched it?
No, I would never watch those things. No.
What could you... Let's take Kate's favorite device at NXT and put it in the worst possible situation. I'm very nervous that they're actually going to do it as a laugh. Von Wagner trying to drink the Heritage Cup, put his juicy juice in there from Robert Stone's kids or whatever. Man. This made me genuinely annoyed. Because there's so many people that could be lining up for the Heritage Cup and just having awesome matches. And that's what it was when it first got here. The Heritage Cup was unique and different because it had rules and stipulations around it. And it was quality matches with guys like Noam Dar and Nathan Fraser and Tyler Bate. And the tournament was booked weird, but it had good wrestlers in it. And now it's just an excuse for the Metaphor to get involved in everything against character heavy wrestlers. Briggs at least can go. Von Wagner sucks. I'm sorry. He's not good. He's just not good at the in-ring stuff. And I don't buy any of the non-in-ring stuff that he's doing either. He can chuck dudes and he can shoulder block people. That is all I've ever seen him do. That is not the guy for the Heritage Cup. Stylistically different from the Heritage Cup, but still can wrestle? Cool.
This
is my least favorite thing you could have done on NXT.
He's got a table. He's going to table Noam Dar. I'm on a table.
Noam Dar will sell it, and it'll be great.
No, it can't
Noam Dar's perfect.
It can't be good. So, Chris Perez reminding us that Vaughn said, "I got an A for algebra," because he's trying to remember how many. There are 2 out of 3 falls, but there are 6 rounds of 3 minutes each, and he says, 18 minutes. Of all the dumb things you have him say in here, you have him immediately be able to do 3 times 6? He immediately said it right. I almost think he said his line wrong. Because he said it correctly immediately. And Noam reacted like he was responding to the wrong thing. Yeah.
I would rather him have a title shot than a Heritage Cup shot. This is awful. Ugh.
So the most recent challenger for the Heritage Cup is now taking advice from JBL backstage about how to be the real, be yourself, be like, oh, JBL, it's good to meet you. Tell me.
Works so well for Baron Corbin. Let's revisit this.
It's good to meet you. Wow. Tell me, do you have any advice for me? Is definitely how a conversation goes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, then just.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have any wisdom that you would like to impart?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, JBL's giving him wisdom on how to be a good big man wrestler.
How quick do you think Baron Corbin just like soft shoot his way out of there? Like, yeah, I don't want to see this guy ever again. Please don't be here for my creative. Bye.
Or like, remember how you told me that I was a turd?
You remember when you buried me?
This turd's gonna win the Dusty Classic.
Yeah.
And then Josh Briggs is like, hey, you can't say that to my new adoptive father. Just roll with it. So then that's what they're Josh Briggs versus Baron Corbin, maybe. I don't know. Vaughn is 1-7 in his last 8 matches. According to Luis. 1-7.
If he wins the Heritage Cup, I'm gonna complain about it on the internet.
You should. We should all do that.
I will.
One of the only good things on this show was the no quarter promo, which isn't going to look good in retrospect because whatever they're going to book them into doing, they're going to lose those matches. Yes, Kate. There is an archetype used within WWE of the Tekker who talks a big game but can't beat the superstar. That is a major deal. That is why Dean Malenko never got booked well under Vince. Vince had no time for the guy who was an excellent technical wrestler,
but the bad man's not here anymore. Let me have my hope.
Listen. All the guys who are writing for this show all cut their teeth under Vince McMahon. They all are still running his playbook. So,
I just want the Tekkers to do good things.
Anyway, it was a really good promo though, and I want. It
was really good.
I want to see Gulak Stable do something in here.
I think there might be something for Charlie Dempsey. Like I think he showed out on the Japanese tour, but it feels like they might have something for him to break out of. I don't think Drew Gulak gets to do what's Honda, and I think Damon Kemp will serve a purpose, but I think like hopefully they have big plans for Charlie Dempsey because he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Let the Tekkers tech. That's all I ask.
I would love for Gulak to be the actual guy to beat Noam Dar for the
would rule.
Cup. Gulak or Dempsey. Hell, one of the two of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jambeard says Vaughn is 1-7. Perfect. Give an NXT title shot like Jinder got his title shot with no wins.
It's true. He's a step ahead. He should be facing Seth Rollins. Von Wagner versus Seth Rollins. Book it.
He's higher in the rankings.
It's true.
So here's our main event. The NXT Women's Championship 20-woman Eliminator Battle Royal for the number 1 contendership to the blah, 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 blah. So the people we saw get entrances were Kiana and Izzy together. They came out of their fake helicopter. We saw Thea Hale get her full entrance. We saw Blair Davenport get her full entrance. Nothing for Roxanne. They did little things for a lot of women who were going to be in this, and they did nothing for Roxanne. I am lenient because they ran it because I believe for sure that Cora was going to win this Royal Rumble Fatal 4-Way deal. Believe for sure she was, and then she got hurt.
100%.
So they had to do something else instead. And if they say, okay, what we're going to do instead is we're going to have Roxanne do it, then you have Roxanne walk up to Lyra Valkyria being interviewed and being like, "Hey, Lyra, I have nothing but respect for you. You took that title off of Becky Lynch. That's like, how many people can say that they've beaten Becky Lynch? That's amazing. So I have nothing but respect for you. But I never lost that title. And it's haunted me for almost a year. Since that title was taken from me, I've never been able to get it back. I wanted to let you know I'm winning this Battle Royal. And I'm winning that Fatal 4-Way. And at Vengeance Day, no matter how much I respect you, I'm going to beat the hell out of you and I'm going to take that title. And Lyra says, I welcome it. I hope you win.
I love that.
If you do that, then this ending won't be like, wait a minute, hold on. How? Great, but how? Because the match is the match. There's a bunch of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense with people getting eliminated when they're eliminated, but whatever. And it comes down to the final four, and when they come to the final four, and the final four in the Fatal 4-Way is Kalani and Roxanne and Tiffany and one heel, Kiana James, to face the babyface champion at Vengeance Day. Well, the obvious choice there, with how their patterns of booking have gone, is you just have the heel win it. And by the way, the Fatal 4-Way started with 4.5 minutes left in the show, because they have an 8-minute overrun.
Yeah,
they have an 8-minute overrun, so it was like 9:03 and 30 seconds or whatever. And they were like, let's just do a whole Fatal 4-Way in 4 minutes. And it was fun to look at, and a lot of cool little near falls and interaction between the two of them. That was great. But when Roxanne won, I was like, well, this is good.
But what?
But what? And also how?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'll say this: battle royals, tournaments, etc. If you do want to do face on face, heel on heel matchups, that's the easiest way to do them, because they won something competitive. So it's the easiest way to fast track a story like that. But the chat loved your promo, by the way, as did I. They thought it was great. Just do that with it. Just do that with it. Why is she not getting an entrance? And why was the final four what it was? How is Blair Davenport eliminated so early? She just had a title shot. Why is Lola Vice, who already has a title shot, in this thing?
Even in it? And then she eliminates Elektra Lopez, who's immediately falls down and goes, you bitch! And then she gets eliminated. By the way, most women in this match eliminate somebody and then bounce up and down on the bottom rope talking trash to them. And only one of them got caught by it. Only one of them got immediately caught by doing the dumb thing, by bouncing on the bottom rope where it's easier to throw you over. I don't know. It was just dumb. So
it was really weird to have. I like when there's a dark horse in your final four, especially if you're going to do the final four becomes a Fatal 4-Way. Right. Kalani Jordan being in that rules, right? But when I peek into our little chat, I was like, when Roxanne loses, because they're going to have the face lose, and Roxanne has had no push going into this whatsoever, and she got no entrance, and she got no promo time. When she loses, she's going to look even more like a chump than she has, because no offense to other women that were in there, but Roxanne is a former champion and maybe the best at the wrestling part of this in the division, certainly a top 3 or top 5, inarguably. And then she won. And I was delighted by that, because she should beat the other women that were in there. But if you have a final four that's Gigi Dolan, Blair Davenport, Kalani Jordan, and her, or something, or more heels than what I said, I guess. But do
Blair, Kiana, and Roxanne and Fallon, because Fallon just got a big thing over Tiffany. There you go, 2 and 2. Blair wants a rematch. Fallon's being pushed. Kiana wants her time in the sun, and Roxanne, who needs that title back. But again, even if you don't have her interact with Lyra, you gotta have her being interviewed or talking about it backstage, so we get that refresher on who she is and what she wants. Because there are people who are watching your show every week now who weren't watching at all. There are people who came to watching NXT because Becky was here, and somehow after Becky left, they stayed, and they only see Roxanne as a jobber.
Correct.
Please do better.
I'm very excited
at reminding people who she is when you're not actually pushing her. That's all.
And it doesn't take much. It takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But like, I also can't wait for the messaging of Roxanne's arc to go from anxiety makes you a bad wrestler, anxiety makes you a loser, to now anxiety makes you a bad person. That's just a really nice 360 view of how they view having an anxiety disorder.
Right.
Because that's what they told us, is that it makes you a loser, and then she'll probably lose and turn heel against Lyra. And now you're a bad person with black lipstick because you have anxiety.
Maddie Rinkowski is now Ren Sinclair.
Okay.
Which
didn't catch that.
No, and she wrestled in a Canadian tuxedo that had been altered to have one long bell bottom leg and one not. It was funny. But I thought she was in the final four, but they did a really terrible job of, like, after there were four people obviously in the ring, they were like, oh, by the way, Kalani Jordan still hasn't been eliminated yet. And then they limited Maddie, and I was like, oh, I thought they were going to do something with her.
I hate that in general, but when a face plays possum, I hate that even more. Because a heel playing possum, you're like, okay, you were clever and you stretched the rules a little bit, whatever. A face is like, you just did the dishonorable thing by laying out for half the match, 3/4 of the match.
So I don't know what they're doing with Lola and Elektra, because they not only are like, like you bitch, you eliminated me. Like, they could have been like, well, it was everyone for herself kind of a thing. But they immediately started beating the hell out of each other and had to be escorted to the back. So that partnership is over. So when Lola cashes in, is Elektra going to stop her from successfully doing it? Is Elektra now going to the main roster to be with Santos?
That's what I'm wondering, is if she's moving up to,
like, if that was how they did it, that's kind of like a weird way of doing it, but all right. Also, Big Ange jobbed out. She was like one of the first ones to go. Gigi Dolan dumped like a bag of trash. Like a bunch of women who I think were much more prominently, should have been prominent people, but just didn't feel like it at all. So
Larry Davenport didn't even get to do like strong girl stuff. Like,
no,
they should have had her. She should have had a spot where she eliminated like 4 people or whatever, and they never really gave her that. Big Ange should have won. Obviously, she should win everything. So
Tiffany should next appear in the Royal Rumble, and after that on Raw.
Yeah. So, I liked your idea of Piper and Chelsea probably split up. Chelsea and Tiffany is a fun idea.
So good. They could just be. You know, they should be. They should just be the Statler and Waldorf of all women's tag matches. They're not going to wrestle. They're just going to be on commentary with their own commentary thing. Just like they'll do the weird thing they do in TikTok now, where that they hold like lavalier mics.
Yeah, those little like tiny
little. And they'll just TikTok while they'll do TikTok live streams from the front row talking about what's going on in the thing, and those things.
And there you go. And now you have your first feud with Kaden and Katana, because those are the TikTok tag team.
Now we're the real TikTok tag team. Jambeard saying what's going to happen is they're going to turn Roxanne heel. It just depends on if they have her blatantly cheat to win the title, and now she's a heel, or if they have her lose to Lyra and that cements finally her turn to the dark side. But there's, all you can do from there. Big Ange.
Either way, black lipstick's coming. We know it.
Yeah. Big Ange, for life, says Mr. Showtime.
Damn right.
Jambeard says, sorry, but every time I hear the name Big Ange, it makes me think of the character from that 70s show, Big Rhonda, who was into Fez. I mean, just because you put the adjective big before a lady doesn't mean anything. But I get you.
Well, we don't know if that's the only similarity. I don't know.
Jambeard says, do you think Dustin is about Dustin Rhodes? If you think Dustin's still wrestling is wild, Cher now has had a #1 hit on the billboards for each decade in the last 7 decades. Wow. Step up your game, Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes.
Well, they call him the natural. Naturally terrible compared to Cher.
We all know that you were just riding the coattails of Big Josh.
Jambeard says, if Piper and Green split, put Tiffy with Green and returning Sonya with Piper, since Sonya is also Green's former partner. Sweet.
Cool. Not mad at that.
Talking about if the police will investigate what happened to Trick all those months ago. You think the police are coming to the parking lot? Nah. Plus, the Melo and Trick storyline is hitting is getting close to how long a Chris Jericho program is. It's true. It's a very long thing. Kitiara says, I don't know why super chats aren't working for Kitiara, but so here's the Humper chat. I just learned that Jesse the Body Ventura is on the record as being very pro-gay rights, and I'm happy to have learned this. He was before it was ever fashionable to be. So he was pro-gay rights. He's a decent fella. All right,
we love ally scripts. We love that for him.
Meet Norma says Snowdy King, Alistair Black Ice, and Buddy the Elf Matthews. House of Black Ice. Snowgle Embassy. Hit Snow. Damage Snow Patrol. That's Damage Snow Patarl. Snowy Starks and Shayna Blizzard.
Shayna Blizzard's really good.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, regarding the Tony pun, it's even colder than it looks when you add in the Wendy Richter chill factor.
On the Richter scale?
That's from Mrs. Colonel Photo. She's amazing.
She is amazing. We love her. She lost the game.
Ricardo Name says Techno Team 2 Below Zero.
Very nice. Thank you for keeping my Techno Team 2000 bit going.
Electric Mayhem says Snokely Hathaway. Slushky Nakamura.
Slushky.
Arctic Anderson. Jambeard says Nyla Snows versus Jamie Haler.
Sleet done. Bang.
Good. Electric Mayhem says, I'll try this again. Tundra Snowza. Tundra Snowza.
Yeah, that's really good.
Tundra Snowza is very good. Chris Burra says the Usnos. Down since day one ish. The Meat Norma says Braun Icebreaker.
Very nice.
Burr, get it burr on. Colder than frostbite. Not meaner than evil. It's colder than frostbite. Electric Mayhem says the legendary Yeti. This is great. Lucha Ben Day, but instead of Big Josh, it's Ben Slosh.
I actually said that earlier, but I'll take it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did.
Greg Cherry Brand says fridging German suplex.
Greg Cherry's got some zingers, man.
Jesse Ozog says send plow, not send hook. Ice Blade Saber Jr.
The hidden blade. Hidden ice blade.
The young moose. Jambeard says Zach Snober Jr. Electric Mayhem says Flake Christian.
Flake Christian's really good.
Snowboo. The homicidal, suicidal, genocidal maniac. Snowboo. Snowplow Jay Whiteout.
Very nice.
Luchador Bendejo says Diana Barrazo.
That's really good. How great was her match on Saturday?
So good. And she's going to face Mariah May tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're having some fun in that women's division, finally.
I mean, Thea Hale, it's right there.
Lieutenant Colonel Photos but great.
Yeah. House of Black Ice and True
Very
Infamous. It's the finishing maneuver of Kenny by God Snowmega. It's the one-wing snow angel.
Oh, very good.
All right. We got jukeboxes here. Okay, you have 2. Okay. And All of mine are Ricky Rainbows, so you have to do yours first.
Ricky Rainbow running wild.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I tweet music suggestions that are obscure and now people super chat them. Thank you. Because that's what happened here.
Mm-hmm. All right.
This is Midnight Dipper, and it's really good. I don't know if it's appropriate to read, though, so I'm going to read it real quick. There's some... Nah, it's not that bad. Okay. Here he comes in a four-wheel drive, been up all night, and he's ready to die. And there she goes on a skin-tight suit. She just ran away from home and got nothing to do. So he pulled in fast. She jumped in quick, loaded up a pipe, and they both took a hit. Head thrown back, eyes closed tight. Love is real, at least tonight, with a finger on the zipper. We're going to end it there.
That's good. Nice. All right.
It's a very catchy little tune. I have to do my other Tiffany one. Hold on.
Mm-hmm, you do.
Where is she?
You got Luis, bring it back. Luis, you got rid of the wrong one. You got rid of the wrong one, Luis.
Luis.
There it is. It's back now.
Oh, this one's so sad, but it came from a really nice moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really beautiful video of what's his name, Louis Capaldi. He has Tourette's, and he was performing live, and it flared up, and the whole crowd, which was a massive crowd because it was a festival crowd, just started singing the lyrics to this, and it's like the most beautiful moment. And I posted that too, and everybody liked it because it's very sweet. So that's why Tiffany's reading this very sad song. I'm going under, and this time I fear there's no one to save me. This, all or nothing, got a way of driving me crazy. I need somebody to hear, somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, it's never the same. I guess I kind of liked the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kind of used to being someone you loved. I'm going under this time. I feel that there's nowhere to turn. This all or nothing way of loving got me sleeping without you. Now I need somebody to know, somebody to hear, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kind of liked the way you helped me escape. Toodles! Such a heartbreaking song to have read in that silliness.
Hello.
Ricky!
This one is from Luis Pulido.
Our own Luis Pulido.
For Stylo by Gorillaz. Love, electricity, shockwave central, power on the motherboard, yes. Push up, overload, legendary heavy glow, sunshine, thunder roll, keep this on. Yes, the lantern burns firm and easy to broadcast, so raw and neatly thunder roll. Sunshine, work it out, overload, 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 come and do the overload, 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 coming on to the overload, 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 coming on to the overload, coming on to the thank you. Dan, this one is requested by Tom LaValle. Ricky
Hold
Rainbow
on.
sings.
Breaking news in the chat.
Oh, thank
Not
you.
the biggest Boris Yeltsin fan, but you earned a knighthood. Sir Ricky
Boris-
Rainbow?
Boris Johnson or Boris Yeltsin? Because they're two very different politicians, love.
What is wrong with me?
Boom by Flight of the Conchords. This is the... All right, here we go. Well, whatever. Here we are, right.
We gotta
Flight
wrap
of
up
the
the show.
Conchords.
I've lost it. Go ahead.
Flight of the Conchords. Flight of the Conchords. Here we are. Right. Here we are. All right. I see you give the sign. I want a boom like it's never been done. Never been done. Bust a move. It's like the click boom of a gun. In the marquee, in the bass is booming. Someone's smoking boom at the back of the room, and it's the first day of boom, and the flowers are blooming. Drum boom bass, and the party is booming. Boom to boom like a rocket taking off to the moon. Boom boom like a bride and boom ah. So you're shaking that boom boom ah. So you're looking at my boom boom ah. So you want some boom boom? It's clear it's boom time, boom, boom, ah. Let me buy you a boom, boom, ah. You enter a fancy room, boom, ah. Are you like boom and I like boom? Even enough small boom, let's boom to boom. Boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom. Thank you. And now we want Jamiroquai as requested by feeling dreepy. But Jamiroquai, Virtual Insanity, which is a very good song, and it helps to describe the world. Yeah, it's a wonder man can eat it all. When things are big that should be small, who can tell what magic spells will be doing for us? And I'm giving all my love to this world, or to be told I can't see, can't breathe. No more will we be, and nothing's going to change the way we live, because we can always take but never give. And now that things are changing for the worse, see? Whoa, it's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us immersed in sin is all we have to give these futures made of virtual insanity. Now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of our new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, for we all live underground. Thank you. Right. I believe there's one more.
You're a busy man tonight. You got like a full set here.
Alpha Bill says, favorite blueyism, bumworms.
What are bumworms in Bluey World?
Well, they're all dogs, you understand.
Right.
So the things that they don't get, like the flu, when oh, my little classmate got sent home from school, what does she have? Bumworms. You know, because they're dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jam Beard says because it's snow puns, Ricky Rainbow to sing Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol, which is a very sad song as well.
I know we had some sad ones tonight, but that one is it fits in with our pun theme.
But it also fits in with our seasonal depression.
It's true.
We'll do it all, everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I just lie here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those 3 words are said too much. They're not enough. If I lie here, if I just lie here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me your garden that's bursting into life. Let's waste time chasing cars around our heads. I need your grace to remind me to find my own. If I lie here, if I just lie here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me your garden that's bursting into life. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I don't know where, confused about how as well. How HBK decided to book Roxanne to win that battle royal.
Very moving. I think the most vulnerable Ricky's ever been here on stream.
Right.
So thank you for being so brave and also specific in the lyrics at the end there. I texted Allie.
Allie should be here. She knows what time this goes on. She knows what time this goes on. She's busy doing Taylor Swift things, probably.
What's sad is like that was a very emotive performance, and your hair is extra special tonight. So I hope she catches it on the rewatch.
Let's see that now. Lieutenant Colonel Fodo just sour chatted a jukebox. Ricky Rainbow to sing Triple H's entrance song, "The Game." You lose, Kate. It's all about the game and how you play. It's all about control, and if you can take it, all about something. I don't have the lyrics in front of me.
It's time to play the game.
Keep Keep cool, gabagoos.
You just lost the game 1, Lieutenant Colonel Photo.
You have to say your thing.
Toodles! But end it so he can't play the game